At the FayWhat Show, we want to introduce you to interesting people who are important to our LGBTQ plus community. This morning, I present to you an interview with one such influential queer trailblazer, the incredible Miss Tatiana Braxton Williams. Let's take a look. Transnclusive Group advocates to protect and defend equality for all transgender and LGBTQ plus individuals. And today we have Tatiana Braxton Williams, the Executive Director of Transnclusive Group, with us. Welcome to FayWhat's Bad, T. How are you?
I am great. I am feeling amazing today. I am great, coming off a little travel, but I'm great.
Oh, I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much. I can't believe this is the first time. Is this the first time you've been in bed with a lesbian?
Yes, it is the first time I've been in bed with a lesbian.
We're getting down to the nitty gritty right off the bat. So let me ask you something real quick, T. Tatiana Braxton Williams, okay? Are you in witness protection? Did you marry a prince that was named Prince Braxton and then you guys got divorced and you kept the name? Like, tell me the hyphen and which one should we address you by always?
So, Tatiana Braxton is my stage name.
Okay.
And many people don't know that I come from stage. I've won a
pageantry, baby.
Pageantry, yes. I've won Miss Black America, Miss Black Universe. I've competed in Miss Continental, Miss Florida. So Braxton is my entertainment name.
Okay.
And Tatiana Williams is the advocate name.
Okay.
So that's the two, but plenty people know me for the both, and they just run them concurrent. So that's where the Braxton Williams comes from.
Okay, good, because you know you never want to address a queen incorrectly, right? So I was like, yes, you know, she must have married a prince. Something happened along the line, and she kept the last name.
And mind you, I said that to myself. I was like, when I get back on stage, I wonder if I'm going to get to the mic and be like, hey, I'm Tatiana Williams, to remember that I'm Braxton, right? Because I've been saying Tatiana Williams so much.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was saying to myself, I hope I can remember when I'm in that place that you are Braxton. So yes.
Oh, girl, please. You will. So T, you're a bright light. You're beautiful. You're supportive. You're inspiring, and you're busy. Okay. Since I met you, I've been inspired by you, scared of you a little bit, lusting over you sometimes. But I wanted to also learn from you. You know, and that's how that's kind of how you make everyone feel. Do you know that?
I know that, but what I often hear is that a lot of people would say to me that there's a little scare, like they're scared in the beginning until they get to know me. And I think that's because of my advocacy. I think it's because the way that I show up, and I show up wholehearted. I show up my full self as a Black unapologetic trans woman. And I think that kind of like exudes out. So people be like, oh, I don't know how to approach her. And I think that's what happened in that case. But I have a very gentle heart.
Yes, you do.
I love people, and I love to give back, and I just love to make people feel supported. So I like to give that nurturing piece that I do carry.
Yeah.
I like to give that out. But when I do walk through the door, I know there's a persona, and I think that persona as well not only happens within this space, but it comes from pageantry as well. And people used to say in pageantry that I would be intimidating.
Yes.
And I have like this on-stage persona, and I think it still shows up even when I walk through the doors outside of that.
Okay, but that's not a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. You know what I mean? Like, you own it, and you're unapologetically you know? Like, have you ever seen somebody wear a garment and you're like, that garment is wearing them? They're not wearing that garment.
Right.
You know? And no matter what you're wearing, you are always wearing it. It's never wearing you. And, that confidence is something that many in our community wish they could have. You know, like, have you always been that way?
I have. Many don't know that I also have a background in fashion design. So I actually dress people as well. That's men, that's women, that's trans women, that's anyone. So for me, when it comes to fashion, I'm always looking. So with me, I critique myself. I pay attention to myself. I know if that works for me, if that fits my personality, and I can also see that in others, right?
Yeah.
So it's just, I have so many components to me. And I was at a convening in Arizona over the weekend, and they was asking a question like, how did you land in advocacy work? How did you land here? And for me, I always thought I would be owning a boutique. That's where I thought like my life was going to be in the boutique, gowns, all of that stuff. But through this work, it catapulted me, got me in a place, and I landed up in advocacy work, and I love it. You just never know like where work would lead you. You just never know where the universe have you and have what's designed for you.
Yeah.
And that's how I got here.
Well, that's incredible to know your purpose, right? Like, to fall into it. I'm a firm believer that there are no coincidences.
Right.
T, you know what I mean? Like, if you have your third eye open and you're open to the possibilities, you're going to land where the universe needs you.
Right.
I can't imagine anybody else doing the type of advocacy that you do. And yes, others do it, but not how you do it. It's like you wrote the book as to how to do shit and not, because nobody, I think of the shirt that I have, right? That says, it's like, pray with me, but don't play with me.
Please. That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. And I think for me is that when it comes to me being understood, I don't want you to misunderstand who I am as a person. I want you to understand how we feel as a community. And when it comes to the trans community and also the LGBT community, there's a lot of misconceptions. And so for me, I want to be clear. I want you to understand, but I am not nothing to play with.
No.
And but I'm also that person that I can have fun, but when it's time to take care of business, taking care of business. And I say when I started at a support group here in Broward County, because I started in Miami-Dade, and people don't know that, but I think I was a little too big for Miami-Dade, right?
Yeah.
And I ended up in Broward County, and when I got there, they was in the time of transitioning from cis individuals. There was a cis woman, a cis white woman to be exact, that was overseeing the transgender advisory group.
Okay.
And I think they was in that place of like, no, we can't have a cis woman overseeing the advisory group for transgender individuals. They had a vote, took a vote of us in the room, and they was like, oh, we want her to speak for us. And I'm like, holy shit.
They want me.
Yeah, and I'm like, I didn't come to do that. And they was like, would you accept? And I was like, I would, and it started from there, and I started working with the health department, and things just moved. It wasn't a plan. It just happened. It wasn't planned.
As a lesbian, I'm very well aware that how this feels. There's a lot of tables that I sit at that I'm the only woman there, that I'm the only woman of color there, right? And as a Latina lesbian, and have such close friends that are trans, for me, it's like if I'm at this table and trans is not represented and I'm not represented, I don't want to be at that table.
Right.
Or I'm asking, where's the tea? How do we get that kind of alarm whistle out to people? Like, why aren't more people feeling how I feel?
I think that there's some intentionality comes with that.
Okay.
And I think that a lot of people, when it comes to this work, they're still in that space of not unlearning certain behaviors, right? And people go along, and sometimes go along to get along. Some people go with they feel comfortable with, right?
Yeah.
And having trans folk to the table, you're talking about a marginalized community that has been marginalized for years.
Yeah.
And in that comes with a certain conviction, that comes with conversation that you have to face. And I think some people don't want to face those conversations, don't want to have those uncomfortable conversations in those moments. So it's comfortable for them to keep the table the way that it is, and that way they don't have to address these things. But we have to, because this is what I like to say, we create events and we talk about social justice as if it's an initiative.
Yeah.
But this is a practice, this is a lifestyle, this is dismantling a system. And I think people have to understand, in order to do that, there's intentionality that comes from that.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure that you are including, and not just for your benefit, for the sake of the betterment of the entire community.
Wow. And that, and that sticks with me, is the unlearning of it all. The unlearning. Like, just because you feel and you've heard this shit for years and years doesn't make it true.
Right.
And it's crazy how that is. Let's talk about Tidor, right? So we're recording this show for Tidor, and it's actually November 4th right now, even though you folks are seeing this show on November 11th. And tomorrow is Election Day. T, if you had a crystal ball, what do you see happening this week?
I'm hoping this week that the community can overcome some fear, become comfortable, to live unapologetic, and be able to show that your voice mattered, right? To show that in this community, in this work, wherever you land in our community, whatever the spectrum that is, that you feel supported, and that you would have someone as a leader of our community and our country that can support you in whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that there will be some joy. I'm hoping there will be some excitement. I'm hoping there will be some vindication, right?
Yeah.
And we're all on that edge of what if. And I don't want to be on the edge of what if. So I'm just hoping at the ending of this week that it'll be a great week, that we can go out and have some drinks, because things happen the way that we did. I'm watching the way things are turning out. I can see the community is excited. They're coming out. They're polling. They're doing everything that they need to do. And I'm hoping that we would have some excitement and we would be partying.
And we'll be partying,
yes,
yeah. And we'll have a black president, damn it.
That's what I'm hoping.
A black woman president. You know, these politics have been so crazy, especially the last couple of years, right? You know, why does the right go after our trans families so damn hard?
I think because we're the most marginalized community and they feel like we don't have a voice. They feel like we don't have that support, right? And it's easy, and especially our youth, especially our kids, they really go after them because people always attack from that side, always attack the most marginalized in a way where you don't have a voice, where you can't even speak for yourself.
The kids can't even vote, Tatiana?
No. And that's why it's easier to attack them, right? But I'm glad that we have people like you, me, and their parents that we are supporting, and people that are in the community to make sure that we stand up and make sure that their voices are heard, to make sure that their feelings that they are sharing with their family, that they understand these are the kids' feelings.
Yeah.
And we have to respect that, right? It's a different day and time. And I can understand how back in the day we probably thought a certain way, but things are different.
Yeah, things are different.
Things are so different. And I think that comes with, like I said, unlearning, that comes with evolving, that comes with the community, that comes with understanding. And for me, you don't always have to agree with everything someone says, because sometimes I disagree with my partner. But at the same time, understanding and compassion is very important.
Yes.
And so for me, I just don't understand it, right? I just don't understand certain things sometimes, like, as a person. When we're talking about mental health, when we're talking about the stability of our people, of our community, you have to think about some of these things when you are making these decisions.
Yeah.
So I just get confused, because take the who you are, who you feel, which party, but what happens when we are talking about people?
People. Humans.
That's
equality.
Has nothing to do with a party.
No, it doesn't. So, it doesn't. Like, that's kind of how I feel about reproductive rights, Tatiana. You know what I mean? I don't think that a cisgendered man, white man, should be deciding what I do with my fallopian tubes, okay? You know, but I will also sit with someone that is pro-choice and have a conversation. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And say, shouldn't it be up to the woman? You know what I mean? Because there are different situations, you know? And, you know, different, I mean, it's just, it's a lot. So TDOR is coming up soon, November 20th, to remember and honor our transgender siblings whose lives have been taken by violence. And so Transinclusive Group, Ariana Center, and Trans Social will come together on November 20th, 5:30 p.m. for the march at Justin Flippin Park. And at 6:30 p.m., the memorial over at the Pride Center at Equality Park. So we start at the park no matter what, the weather, anything, because we've done it in the rain.
Right. We're gonna keep it moving. The rain has really stopped us in the past. We're going to keep it moving. We got some jackets. We got everything that we need to make sure people are safe. So we're just going to walk to the Pride Center. So we have raincoats if you need them.
Well, I was going to say, this is South Florida, right? Like, listen, this is a keratin, bitch, okay? Ain't nobody want to get their hair wet like me. Nobody. But that's why I got a poncho in my car. I got an umbrella in every purse. I even got like these little mini ones from Temu. They're like $3, okay?
Really?
But they come in handy. They're this small. They fit in any purse.
Liz, I keep an umbrella.
Right?
Me, personally. So yeah, I keep one in the car.
You know, so it's going to be an evening full of unity, featuring spoken word music performances and a community meal as we remember, honor, and stand together with support from AIDS Healthcare Foundation, Our Fund Foundation, SunServe, Flux, Hotspots Events, Miss Florida Pageant, the Pride Center, Midland Cares, and the Human Rights Campaign. Why is this so important this year?
I think it's very important.
It's important every year, first of all. I'm sorry.
This year it's very, very important, and I'm hoping to have a Black woman as president, as you mentioned, this year. But it's important to acknowledge that where we're moving in a community, we oftentimes talk about diversity, inclusion, belonging, and all of those things. And I think as we move and as we evolve in a community, that we start to make sure that the visibility of our trans community, the understanding of what's happening in our community, and ensuring that our community is safe.
Yeah.
You know, we have town halls as well that promote safety, but just making sure that our siblings are safe in whatever that looks like, even when it comes to intimate partner violence. So understanding about Trans Day of Remembrance and understanding like why we do this, because and some people want to say we're moving in a way of resilience as well, right? And I think resilience is also important because we have some amazing people that help in the work that we do, amazing people that, you know, they are working in politics and doing all of those things, working behind the scenes to make sure that our community member is safe. But it's important this year to make sure that people show up, to show that you are standing in solidarity with not just the community, but ensuring that we are safe as a community.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So International Transgender Day of Visibility is in March. Okay. What do you want to say about this day? I mean, there's some people get it confused, and it's completely different. In March, we are celebrating your resilience. We're celebrating. Period.
Right. So in March, it's about the visibility. It's about like showing trailblazers. It's more remembrance. It's more of, I don't want to say sad, because I think we have to move from always being sad, especially in the climate that we're in. But it's more of a remembrance in November, but that resilience that happens in March is important. It's just showing all of the things that we have accomplished as a community, highlighting, exciting, like, you have events that feature the beauty, that feature the talent. That's what's important. And that's what happens in that visibility, and making sure that we are visible, not about just the community supporting us, but us being visible within the community is what's important when it comes to March and Trans Day of Visibility.
For sure. And that was, and speaking of the Trans Day, you had the event with Nick Harris, or you're having the event with Nick Harris as well, right? And this, you've also had that for a couple of years, the town hall.
Yeah, it's the town hall is to highlight, when it comes to the trans community, there's a lot of things that happen in our community when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to social justice, when it comes to a lot of things. So what we try to do is bring community members in so you can hear the voices of community. A trans woman like myself, 50 plus years old, I don't have the voice. And I don't have the voice for everyone in the community. And the community looks different. Transitioning looks different now than it did when I transitioned, right? So making sure that we have voices, community members speaking to their experience, right? And that personal thing for people can understand like what the community looks like and the different variations of the community. You have your trans masculine folks, you have your non-binary folks, your gender conforming folks. So just making sure that those voices, those experiences are heard, those experiences are highlighted, and people get to see the diversity and the inclusion in the community and the work that we do at Transinclusive.
But they're both, I get chills because they're both so important events, right?
Yes.
You've had me host Trans Day of Remembrance.
Are you hosting again?
I think I am. But I gotta tell you, I'm still blown away that you let me host that. And I still and again, this, if I'm allowed to do it in March, this will be the third year that I will be hosting, and my mind still is blown when I'm asked to do it, because I'm aware that of the luxury that I have being a passing white colored Latina lesbian. You know what I mean? So why me?
I think you, because of the personality, and you are a very supportive ally, right? And you leading by example, showing your allyship, showing that you are in full support, and you're not only just here for that particular hosting, you are behind the community 100%, 110%, 365 days. There's a difference, right? Some people show up and just be like, okay, they want an opportunity, but you show up when people are not looking. So that's what's important to us, and seeing that you're showing up when people are not looking, and you understand the community, and understanding community, and understand what we are trying to do, understanding the end goal, that is very important. So to have you host, we're just as excited about you hosting as you are excited to host.
Thank you.
And I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. So let's jump off of this for a little bit. You've got to go to Tidor, okay? Make sure that you follow Transinclusive Group and get all the information on there and meet us there. So you were so deservingly presented with a crown at Miss Florida FI last year, right? And how was that? Did you know that was going to happen?
No, I did not. I had no idea that was going to happen, but I'm excited that it did, because as I mentioned earlier about my pageantry background, and the fact that happened, the fact that Miss Florida, funny, I was having a conversation about that today. The fact that Miss Florida recognized and honored me for the work that I do in the community, and just being a part of that entity, was very, very important to me. I was excited. I was surprised. I was all of those things, because Miss Florida was a pageant that I grew up watching. I grew up from the very beginning, early on in transition, watching these women compete for that title. So to be recognized at this stage in my life was very rewarding to me.
Well, it was so beautiful, because I got to see it firsthand. I was standing right there, and I was like, damn, Tatiana can act, or she has no idea that this was about to happen. Because it was like, and then then you so gracefully did it all. And it was just, it was a beautiful moment to watch. And, I hear from people that Miss Florida FI raised them, taught them discipline, taught them, when people think of pageantry, they think of throwing the pearls and messing up the next the next contestant, but there is camaraderie and there is lessons to be learned.
Absolutely. And I think with pageantry, it also helped me with my articulation, being on stage, having those conversations. And I think I never would have thought that me being a pageant person, coming into advocacy, that I would have been able to use a skill that came from that. And I have, because a lot of this came with it in the interviews, you know, the on stage speaking, all of those things helped me in that career, but it also contributes in this space as well.
Yeah, you do a lot of public speaking when it comes to trans inclusive. So of course, so then so you tap into that.
Right. Absolutely.
Right? Like the way you stand, the way you look at people, the way you address the question, you know, you're always you're meticulous in your answers, and that comes from there. I love that. Tatiana, will you run for office someday?
I've been asked that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't.
You didn't say no. I'm just saying.
I did not say no. I didn't plan to be an executive director of an organization either. So, and it happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You just never know what the future may bring.
Okay.
You just never know. Even like when I was approached, I've asked people and sitting on the board of directors for the Human Rights Campaign, that never was my vision when I came into advocacy or volunteering with the Human Rights Campaign. I was just like, I'm here to do the work.
Yeah.
And when it came to me, I'm like, that wasn't the goal for me. And, you know, for you to knock on the door and be like, hey, this is where we want you. I'm like, okay. But
how can you say no?
Right. And just know what you're getting yourself into.
Yes.
Because I don't care who's at the table. I'm going to hold you accountable.
Yes.
And I don't care how uncomfortable that gets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But see, but those uncomfortable, we need to have those uncomfortable conversations,
Absolutely.
Tatiana. And that's the thing, okay? So when people come to me, and I don't know why you come to me, let's start there. What can I do for the trans community? Why are you asking me? Go find a trans person and ask them. And the reality is that the first answer out their mouth might not be what you want to hear.
Right.
And that's got to be okay too, right?
Right. We have to unlearn some things. And that takes a lot of work in that. So, and I always say, when I tell my trans siblings, when you're invited to a space, it's okay if you're thinking, because sometimes I sit in spaces and think things and don't say them, but your voice is there for a reason. You're sitting at that table because they want your voice. Use it.
Use it. Say something. I love your postings. Like, I live for some of the stuff you put, because it's like, you know, it's like putting people in their place without putting people in their place, right? Like, if you know, then you know, right? And if you don't, then you don't. But one of your last posts was a couple of days ago. Oh, not one of your last posts. One of the posts that I saw that I wanted to take a screenshot and ask you about was you posted a picture of you during pageant time years ago, and then you put, there will always be someone who doubts you. Just make sure that person is not you.
I feel that with every fiber in my being. And what I do know in a lot of spaces that we find ourselves in, and I'm not going to even say it too specific to the trans community, but as people, you'll find yourself in spaces where people do doubt you. But as long as that you believe in yourself, you can get and go anywhere that you want to. And I know in this time and space, there's a lot of people that follow me in pageantry, and there's going to always be whispers where you are doubting yourself. And I want to make sure, in order for you to capture that goal, in order for you to get across the finish line, you have to have faith within yourself.
You have to.
You have to believe in yourself regardless of what anyone else says.
Because that little voice that's telling you you're not enough, right? And the shit is that voice is in your own voice. Because so how do you not listen to it? But that voice can also tell you you're the shit.
Yeah.
You walk in there and you take over that room. You bring that energy.
Exactly. That's that.
Tatiana just feels you. You feel it? You feel it? Maybe you become a preacher. You ever thought about becoming a preacher?
No.
No, okay. See? I'm just saying, have hood. That's me. Have
that
hood,
was
have
strong.
God.
You got the strong note from that one, right? The other one was like, this was like, no. No, I didn't.
Oh. All right, so we have a game here at the FayWhat show that, you know, it just helps our viewers get to know more about our favorite people, all right? It's a speed round, and we call it Say What with FayWhat, all right? So I'm just going to give you two options, and then you just answer real quick. You ready? All right. Ham or turkey?
Ham.
Michael B. Jordan or Michael Jordan?
Michael Jordan.
Beyonce concert or singing Beyonce in your car?
Beyonce concert.
Oprah or Deepak Chopra?
Oprah.
Bingo or cornhole?
Bingo.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Pack light or overpack for a trip?
I'm an overpack
Me
always.
too! Ball gown or sweats?
Ball gown.
Arrive early to the party or fashionably late?
Fashionably late.
Pizza or Chinese?
Chinese.
Shopping in store or online?
In store.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Lady Gaga or Dua Lipa?
Lady Gaga.
Dateline or Abbott Elementary?
Dateline.
Ooh, I go to sleep with that. Isn't that weird? Like they're murdering and I'm like,
Yes, Dateline.
pasta or rice?
Pasta.
Dogs or cats?
Cats.
French fries or tater tots?
French fries.
Hugging hello or shaking hands?
Hugging hello.
Peanut butter and jelly or grilled cheese sandwich?
That was a hard one. Grilled cheese.
Look into that camera, Tatiana, and say, FayWhat?
FayWhat?
Thank you so much, Tatiana, for being on the FayWhat show and being in bed with me. Thank you for taking the time. I adore this woman. Make sure that you follow Transinclusive Group for everything that they're doing. They're having so many incredible events, and I expect to see you guys all at T-Door. All right, we're starting at Justin Flippin Park, and we're going to walk on over to Equality Park, all starting at 5:30. Get all the information online, and we will see you November 20th.